Donald Trump faces a revised federal indictment accusing him of illegally trying to overturn his 2020 election loss. Prosecutors led by special counsel Jack Smith have narrowed their approach after the Supreme Court ruled that former presidents have broad immunity from criminal prosecution. Jack Smith's team has obtained the superseding indictment in the Washington case, though it was highly unlikely to proceed to trial ahead of the November 5 election when Trump faces Kamala Harris. The revised indictment lays out the same 4 charges prosecutors brought against Trump last year. But this one focuses on Trump's role as a political candidate seeking re-election rather than as the president at the time. In July, the Supreme Court ruled that Trump cannot be prosecuted for actions that were within his constitutional powers as president. US District Judge Tanya Chutkan is expected to decide in the coming weeks which aspects of the case must be tossed out based on the Supreme Court's immunity decision. But legal experts say there's enough material for the case to carry on.
There's still a whole lot of meat left on the bone that is essentially non-immune and allegedly criminal conduct that the president engaged in order to disrupt an official proceeding, that official proceeding being the lawful certification of the vote. So the distinction that Jack Smith is making is an important one. He says the Supreme Court said this year that presidential official action is subject to a presumption of immunity, but the president's actions after Election Day up through January 6th, with respect to the core of the case against him, was mostly non-official anyway, and therefore can and should go forward.
Trump hit out at the special counsel, calling it an attempt to interfere with the election. He wrote on Truth Social, "In an effort to resurrect a dead witch hunt in Washington, D.C., in an act of desperation, and in order to save face, the illegally appointed special counsel deranged Jack Smith has brought a ridiculous new indictment against me, which has all the problems of the old indictment and should be dismissed immediately. His Florida document hoax case has been completely dismissed. This is merely an attempt to interfere with the election and distract the American people from the catastrophes Kamala Harris has inflicted on our nation, like the border invasion, migrant crime, rampant inflation, the threat of World War III, and more." So, what happens now?
I think that the answer to that is, somewhat ironically, maybe tragically, is up to the American voter. If the American voter chooses Kamala Harris, there's a real chance that the president will have to press his defense in court. And we'll have to find out through our normal legal processes whether he's guilty of the charges against him. If the president wins, that process will never take place.
For more such videos, keep watching Strat News Global.